Ladies and gentlemen, I'm James Rockin' that announcer guy, and I am the host of the Shelter-in-Place game show In the House, where our contestants can play from the comfort and safety of their own home. In the House challenges your knowledge on topics. We also feature prizes and giveaways. Join us for In the House, uploaded every Friday at midnight. Log on to VJTVNetwork.com/InTheHouse, and hopefully you are in the house.
The Raider Fan Radio Christmas show was supported by Stella's Pizza. We enjoyed their delicious, fresh, gourmet pizza, calzones, wings and fingers, sides and desserts, and even fresh salads at StellasPizzaLV.com. That's StellasPizzaLV.com. And when you get there, you can check out their awesome carry-out specials. The large carry-out special for only $12.49, large 2-topping Stella's Pizza. And what we did was the big family carry-out special for only $32.99. Get your fresh gourmet pizza or calzone, desserts, and salads at StellasPizzaLV.com. The Raider Fan Radio crew loves Stella's Pizza, and you can check out the link to Stella's Pizza in our description at the RaiderFanRadio.Vegas Christmas Party Show number 12. Get there today.
This portion of RaiderFanRadio.Vegas is sponsored by Flower Child LLC. Log on at flowerchild.guru. That's flowerchild.guru. For homemade organic bath, body, and healing products, aromatherapy candles, intoxicating scents, custom orders, scented art. Free your body and your mind will follow. Subscribe now for specials, new products, discounts, and good vibrations. That's flowerchild.guru, flowerchild.guru.
Jimmy pledge allegiance.
Welcome to show number 15, another show of RaiderFanRadio.Vegas-Show. What's up, baby? We're having to get that website up, right? Oh, yeah. Executive producer Black Hole staff.
It is coming.
It's coming, well.
Like the Raiders.
You know what's coming out? The Raiders are coming. Well, actually, no. Let's change that around. The Raiders aren't coming right now. The Raiders are flaccid. They're zipped up. Put away for a while.
Right.
That's where the Raiders are right now. Because it's playoff season. Super Bowl's coming up right now. By the time that you watch this, it'll be the weekend of the AFC.
Don't tell people that. You're like Santa Claus. I live not far from the facility, and our studio is not far from the facility. The last 3 days, I've gone past there up to one of the stores up on the hill, and the lights have been on.
The lights are on.
There have been 2 lights on the side. Home. Chucky's up there. Chucky's up there working, and I hope he's working out too. But anyway, yeah. So I just want to make Raider fans feel a little comfortable knowing that there's somebody in there. They're working.
I think Coach Gruden watched show 14. He saw some of the
jogging.
He saw some of the friendly criticisms that we offered him here at RaiderFan Radio.
Don't trip.
We love Coach Gruden. That's why we want to see a happy and healthy Coach Gruden.
Oh, he's happy.
We want to win, and we want to be happy and healthy at RaiderFan Radio. You know, since our last show number 14, we've gone up about another 100 subscribers. Thank you very much. Liking and subscribing to RaiderFan Radio.
Thank you.
Our last show had 11,688 views.
Yes.
Now, considering we've only...
Because we're the original, baby.
We've been around for 20 years, but we've only been doing the YouTube channel now at show number 14 for this season.
We're just returning to the landscape.
We're growing.
This new landscape.
And we're happy that you're joining us.
Yes, we are. Welcome, new subscribers.
We're stoked that you're here with us.
And we're the original Raider Fan Radio. We're not Raiders Fan Radio. We're not Tennessee motherfuckers. Down in middle Tennessee, hillbillies with their Raiders show. God bless them. It's all good, like I said, but we're the original.
Sounds like it's not that good when he says it like that.
Well, I hate seeing it. I hate knowing somebody stole my shit.
Yeah.
And is using our shit. Now, we own it, of course, and if we have to get legal, as I told you, then we're going to win. It's ours. We own it. And he put an S on it. But it was just the fact that, you can't come up with your own shit. These people are so unoriginal. Can't come up with their own shit. And that's one of my pet peeves in society. People can't come up with their own shit. So anyway.
Well, like you said, yes, we are the original RaiderFan Radio, and we are back. As a matter of fact, that's where I want to get to some of the comments, because many of our older listeners, older, been around for a while, are veterans. And before I do that, by the way, I am tonight wearing my Marijuana Zombies. LV, Don't Envy. Apparel that we promote here. To me, this is like one of my coolest.
What's up, Berto?
I mean, it's Cheech and Chong, all zombied out, smoking some zombie weed.
Does that glow?
It glows. Well, I don't know if it glows technically, but it glows whenever I look at it.
Yeah.
I like the green and purple.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
like it glows, yeah.
We really appreciate you. Check out Reppin' LV, Don't Envy.
Right. Go to Instagram.
Is it
Reppin' LV underscore.
He's coming up.
Reppin' LV underscore Don't Envy. And that's Berto is the owner.
On Instagram. Go there, shop. Get what you need. He's also here locally selling, but that's his art, and we're bringing it to you at RaiderFan Radio.
Raider fan, Raider owner, business owner.
Yes,
in Vegas.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
So some of our comments. Elliot D contacted us to say, glad you guys came back. So thanks for having us back, Elliot D.
Hey, Elliot.
Farsick Dominic, and if I say these names wrong, it's because I don't know, but I'm trying.
It's not farcical Dominic, is it?
It says Farcick Dominic.
Farsick.
Notices the the 420 that we share here. It says, pass it to me over here.
Oh, right on.
So obviously we got some fellow stoners
Right on.
out there in the world. Led Zeppelin. Wait. No, it's like this. Led Zeppelin. So right up that Led Zeppelin.
Mean Green.
Animator.
Manual 66.
All right.
I look forward to the intro music.
All right.
Which is very cool. I'll tell you a little inside scoop story behind that. That's all. That's the issues right here.
That's the
Black
farce
Hole
right
Steph,
there.
executive
Farce.
producer.
Brother.
She makes that happen.
Silver Black does.
Silver Black does.
We
yeah.
love her.
We have a lot of multi-personalities around here.
Yeah.
We got a crew, man. Jonas Rakule.
All right.
That's a trippy name. I gotta find out what the meaning behind that one is. I'll take Ginger. Laugh my ass off at Stoner Dude getting rid of the island competition. Talking about our breakdown of Marianne and Ginger on Gilligan's Island when we did the dedication to Marianne Dawn Wells last week when she passed away. Can I say died from now on?
You
Passed
can
away sounds like I'm trying to say died, but they say passed away.
Oh, they're most definitely
She
dead.
died.
She transitioned, but yes. If I was on the island with Ginger and Marianne, yes, I would get rid of the skipper, I would get rid of Gilligan, and I would get rid of Mr. Howell, even though he's not a threat. And I would keep Mrs. Howell around for a little while, too. Just for a little while.
Just in case Rob comes and visits.
There you go.
Older ladies.
Audio says, do the trade Raiders. And now we're talking about Raider Rob's last week, show 14. He proposed right here, made his announcement, public announcement, he's preparing for months and months and months, maybe even years, 2 years, I think you've been wanting to.
From the first time I saw it.
Correct.
So you
want to make that trade, it's a big trade of the century. Go back to show number 14 to get all that information and see the proposal. But audio says do the trade, Raider. So you do have some support out there.
Yeah, audio knows what time it is.
Candy Stop says time for a new Raiders QB in the new decade.
All
so
right,
again,
Candy Stop.
You got another one. He's all over you.
Right on, Candy.
Now, Raider Homer, I'm sure you have a good response for this, says your hate for Carr jinx him.
Oh.
How is that possible?
I missed the wizard all of a sudden.
You didn't know
superpowers.
Yes. I'm super. That's what I always say. If I had the power to decide things like that, I would win every football pool. I would decide who the quarterback was or whatever.
Right.
So as although I understand what you're saying, you're talking about. I'm thinking anyways more positive reinforcement for Carr. And I'm a Carr fan. Let's make this clear.
Raider Homer is a Carr fan. You're a Carr fan. There's a few of you that are out there, and I hope you got your, and Waller outsold him with Jersey. So I hope y'all are happy, with your boy Carr. But the bottom line with him, and some of you fans recognize, it's not about so much him. It's about the team overall and where we're trying to go. Right. And after 7 years, again, I'm not going to beat a dead horse because he's dead. In my eyes, but the cat, they're not literally dead, but dead as a quarterback. But literally, it's 7 years, and you don't really see that improvement that matches what you've seen this last weekend in the playoffs and what you've seen throughout the year with some of the up and coming quarterbacks. He should be top 10 quarterback in the NFL by now for all the hype that all of y'all giving. Right. And so I'm just asking the question, when are y'all going to be done with him? Because I can't fuck around and wait on y'all.
Well, to actually
get your shit together.
To go with what you have to say there, Rob, Jonas Rakule also contacted us and said, Raider Rob's trade of the century made me a subscriber.
Right on. Heard that. Welcome to the team.
Comparable to the legendary trade history of other teams, I don't see it as giving up the farm, as I put it, at all. If the $1 million front office can't get this done, it would be a shame. So,
because you didn't qualify the farm. Number one, you're getting the number one pick overall, which is Trevor Lawrence. You're getting a future franchise quarterback. You still have your second round pick. Okay? You still have your third round pick.
Right.
There was only a fourth round pick. And then some throwaway pick next year. 2 years from now. Who knows what that'll be? Okay? But in 2 years from now, with Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, that number 2 2023 pick shouldn't be that significant in that 2023 draft. If this trade was to happen and we build on what we have and then add to it. And if you get your J.J. Watt, what did you lose?
And that's not a farm. That's more like a fucking chicken house.
No,
you're not giving up a farm.
When you look at the other trades that you
Mike Ditka gave up the farm.
Mike Ditka, that was like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 13 rounds or something like that.
Yeah.
The Cowboys was like 9 rounds.
Right.
I mean, going into each year. So with the Herschel Walker trade.
Right.
So I mean, betting the farm would be, of course, giving up all those picks. But if you're talking about 3, I mean, you're throwing in a couple of players. It's worth it to me to move forward. So I'm with you, Jonas. I'm with you, Candy. Stop. Let's go into the new decade with a new quarterback. Enough already. This dude has to get help during plays. We were talking about this. You want somebody that knows that by now. I mean, if you've had the same offensive coordinator for how many years?
Right.
You've had the same coach now. So something in your brain isn't clicking. And that makes you stop. Every time you pass deep, you got to run to the sideline and check in and go, okay, coach, what do I do next?
Right.
When I'm watching the playoffs this last weekend, I didn't see any of that from those leadership quarterbacks, those playoff quarterbacks. They ran those offenses like clockwork.
Unless they had to.
Right, and that's very rare because they're also professional football players, so they know what to do in those situations.
Right.
And why doesn't Derek Carr know what to do in these situations yet?
Well, something that's changed, or not changed, but it happened or occurred.
Yeah, Raider Homer.
Ever something that's occurred.
Jinxing himself.
Since Raider Rob has made that proposal for the trade of the century, now Jaguars coach Urban Meyer, new coach Urban Meyer, an esteemed college coach for all these years, now it's coming to the NFL to be the head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's sitting there now thinking about, what am I going to do with that number 1 pick overall? My very first ever number 1 overall pick. And I'm sure he's probably hoping his last, but there'll be more, trust me. Jacksonville will have many other top.
What is what I was talking about? There's an uncertainty.
Does he want to go and get that one player to try to change his franchise around and build around? Or does he
It
want
ain't about Jacksonville's franchise, man. It's about the fucking business of football. And the business of football did not move to Las Vegas to sit around here and try to make money off of Derek Carr. Okay? You have people walking around with Trevor Lawrence here in Las Vegas. You'll have fans able to buy his jersey 24 hours a day. Bunch of drunk 20-something-year-old Raider fans from back in first time in Vegas, walking through Planet Hollywood 2 in the morning. One of the shops is open, $80.
Boom.
$80 5 times over. Say it's just a crew of 5 guys. Steph and some of her girlfriends coming to town. She takes them down on the strip. They walk to the Caesar's Palace. One of the shops is open. They're Raider fans. They want the new Lawrence jersey.
Right.
Okay? When are you going to do that in Jacksonville?
Right.
They have a waterfront. God bless them. I'm sure they have some nice little malls and things like that. But the money. This is revenue. We're talking business, people. Okay?
Right.
He is not a viable business option for the NFL in Jacksonville.
Right.
No matter what team they put around him, and he can win a Super Bowl in 3 more years. Jacksonville ain't the place when it comes to maximizing the profits you make off of your star players. And that's just the bottom line. You know, and God bless Jacksonville and on Urban Meyer, whatever the fuck they call themselves doing down there. Okay, but no.
Well, like I said, bottom line is like Urban Meyer, is he going to, and I'll wrap that up because, this isn't Jaguar Radio.
Thousands.
But yeah, are they going to go out there and try to put all the eggs in one basket? Are they going to, maybe your proposal where you get draft picks, you get an opportunity to build your team and all these other things that you're talking about. So it does definitely make sense. My pragmatic side.
They get a veteran quarterback that all you motherfuckers that are Raider fans that like Carr and all these TV pundits that think he's so great, I don't see why anybody would have a problem with it. Mm-hmm. Okay? The way, let y'all tell it, he's a better quarterback right now going into his 8th year than Trevor Lawrence would be being a rookie coming in. Let y'all tell it.
Well, then that's top sell, right? That would be a top sell.
He should sell tickets. He's Derek Carr, right?
Right.
He's so fucking good, right?
Right.
Fuck out of here, man.
Well, you have your supporters out there, so
thank you, supporters.
Yeah, like
we all gonna get together soon when this shit open back up.
Somebody subscribe
because of you.
Right on, man.
So yeah, like, subscribe, share with your friends.
Was that Giannis?
That was Giannis.
Giannis right here. It's in perpetuity. It's in perpetuity. It can't go nowhere. It's on YouTube, okay? We get Trevor Lawrence. I got your Trevor Lawrence jersey.
Money on the line right there.
We get Trevor Lawrence. I got your Trevor Lawrence jersey.
You have proof right here on
Okay, we
radio.
got over 10 million Raider fans that'll hold me to it.
Yes. Let's go for
Of
it.
course, if you have emails, you can contact us here at RaiderFanRadio@gmail.com.
Yes.
Now, we do a dedication normally here at the show, pretty much every week, because somebody dies. You know, some great, some not so great. Before I go into the full dedication, I do want to make mention that recently, as in this last weekend, our great friend Ricky Ricardo did have his memorial service.
Right.
And it's on YouTube. You can see the video, some video of it that some fans passed around. It was streaming live on YouTube. And it was a military type of funeral or tribute, because I almost forgot. Ricky was an Army sergeant in Vietnam.
Yes, he served.
Wow.
Yeah.
And something he's told me about many times over at Ricky's, and he's had some pictures on the wall. And it was one of those ceremonies where the soldiers fold the flag, and they presented it to Tina, and it was just a very emotional scenario, especially for all the fans here that know Ricky and know the energy that was probably in the room. I wish I could have been there, Tina.
Yeah.
Was it at Ricky's?
Love you, Tina.
No, it was
A chapel or something?
It was a chapel or I think he was cremated. I think it was a crematorium or something like that. But anyways, you can see it on YouTube. But anyways, I guess that's a final farewell to the body of Ricky Ricardo, but his spirit will live forever and ever and ever, forever and ever and ever. But the other dedication we're going to go on, I don't know if this is much of a dedication because I feel different ways. Usually a dedication is a tribute to somebody, remembering them, how great they were, how much they affected our lives. And in this particular situation, I know, Rob, we're about the same age, we're from the same generation, and the dedication is to Phil Spector.
You think so?
Phil Spector, the producer that was known for his wall of sound. He was a prodigy early in life from the East Coast into the 50s, into the early 60s. At a very young age, he was like 20 years old. We started getting really big gigs as far as a producer goes. And then when he started, when he became a full-time producer, by the time he was 25, he had all these great, hits and number one hits. And his whole thing was about the 2.5-minute song.
Right.
And the wall of sound was basically, in a nutshell, if you can do that, was to take a 2.5-minute song and put as much sound into it as possible to make it sound huge.
Larry, he was into layering,
It was all a lot of orchestration sounds, vocals, big vocals. And back then, this is before, when you think of that type of what he did as far as musically, this is before like the Beatles and Beach Boys were adding all that orchestration to them. They were even barely hitting the scene. The Beach Boys were very new, and the Beatles didn't even come until 1964. So to put all that sound together, and you had to do it in a studio. Even though there was layers, it's not like today when you can multi-track music. This is where you had to have everybody in the room together, playing together, a whole orchestra playing with a band and singers in the background, mics to the side. So, but he was also, even though he was so famous and well known as a musical producer, he was also, and I think he was an asshole. He was a narcissistic, controlling asshole. And probably one of the biggest stories that's well known is his relationship, because he discovered Ronnie and the Ronettes.
Yep.
And she was the cute little hot.
And he also tried to steal Tina Turner from Ike Turner. Ike Turner couldn't stand it. He tried to steal, but he did a great arrangement. I forget the name of the song now, but anyway, he did a great arrangement with Tina Turner. But go ahead.
He married. He discovered Ronnie, and then he married her because he had to have her. Who didn't? Everybody wanted Ronnie Spector back then, or before she was Spector. But anyways, and then but once he married her, it was a total controlling situation where he basically kept her prisoner in his mansion in Hollywood.
Right.
Again.
And supposedly hired a hitman to take her out. I mean, That Phil Spector trial, that's what I remember. Yes, his music, but number one, the hair.
I was just getting to that.
First his hair, and then, of course, the murder trial.
What do you mean his hair?
His hair was
when he had the electric outfit.
The electric
It was like an explosion of hair.
Like Martha Hopper around
It's so weird. And then when he came to trial, he had to, of course, like do away with whatever wig that was because the feds.
He had a whole bunch of wigs.
Right.
What we're talking about is that, of course, Phil Spector, if you don't know, was charged and eventually convicted of murdering Lana Clarkson, a young waitress at a Sunset. Matter of fact, the House of Blues club on Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, that was my favorite. House of Blues on Sunset. That was the best House of Blues out of all of them.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. And so anyway, took her back to his house in Altadena and ended up, shooting her after after she scorned his advances for the evening.
I don't want you.
Wait.
Oh my God.
But she had been a character actress and, what they call a B-movie actress and just a struggling actress. I won't even say
up and comer.
She was one that was trying to still maintain her career and still, catch a break. So she was augmenting that by working as most Hollywood folks have to do in Hollywood.
He used to always wave his gun around all the time with all his acts over there.
He was a little tyrant.
He was crazy. He was insane.
A tyrant, man.
He was extremely controlling. Some call it eccentric. I call it basically an asshole. Yeah. But ultimately,
he's not one of these little guys.
Easy with the little guys.
You're self-assured and confident, and you don't trip. That's right. You know what I'm saying? But he's one of these other cats that, one of these little dudes with little man Napoleon complex. You know what I'm saying? And everybody, the world's so big around them. So when they get a little bit of bigness through their money or fame or whatever, then they just wreak havoc on people around them and are, total assholes. And he was known for that. And, of course, the abuses with Ronnie Spector and just throughout the 70s and 80s, the contentious recording sessions. Many artists talk about, recording with him was a pain in the ass and what have you. But he was a genius.
A talented tyrant.
That's you said that's why we do the dedication, because even though he was an asshole and he was a dick and he was really uncool to a lot of people and he was very controlling over. You can't deny the guy's art of what he created early in his life, anyways, and it did change the face of music and recording, and it opened up obviously a lot of opportunities for other artists down the road under his banner. But one thing about when you talk about Ronnie Spector, and some of the other bands he signed, like the Crystals, the Do Run Run, he would rather spend millions in court cases or lawyers to not pay them the royalties.
Yeah, that's an asshole.
That's as big as an asshole as it gets. Mm-hmm. I would rather spend all my money and not giving you the money you deserve or earned than to give you the money.
Aren't you giving it against you?
Yeah,
I'm giving it to you. Well, that's how rich he was. Look at that.
But he died in a prison hospital and
very undignified.
What did he die of?
COVID.
Yeah, he died because he was an old piece of shit.
He died from COVID. Everybody's
dying of COVID now.
Yeah.
They said Marianne died of COVID.
That's a way to get out of malpractice suits. That's a way to cover up for celebrities.
Cash in.
Where you can now put this COVID thing on the celebrity culture. Again, normalizing it, but also, if your favorite star died of it, what are you tripping on?
Yeah, what do you expect to die of?
This kind of sickness, that we've got going on with some of these motherfuckers in this country. But, I'm sure it wasn't just COVID alone, but this is what they're doing, man. So,
it's an easy
I question that.
Death.
He said that on the last show or the show before.
Yeah, everybody, come on. Yeah. I understand that COVID is killing people. I'm not going to sit here even have that discussion as far as deny, because I wouldn't dishonor anybody who's lost somebody because of it. Yeah. But it's obvious to all of us anyways that it's almost like they just put it on there. You can be in your 80s and dying of cancer or whatever,
right?
and somehow they're going to squeeze in COVID on top and make it this umbrella reason why they died. And that's pretty insulting to me.
Very.
So, anyways, that's our dedication
to Phil Spector.
DEAD,
Right on.
dedication to Phil Spector. He's worth definitely going on YouTube and definitely learning about. There's a lot of documentaries and biographies and things like that.
HBO movie they did on his whole trial.
Oh, with Al Pacino.
That was a long movie, too.
I haven't seen it.
But they that interesting.
Right. Plus, you're looking at him, and he's kind of like, not easy on the eyes. So, it's tough.
Well, it's Al Pacino, too. It's like, really?
I know.
Al Pacino playing Phil Spector. Like, come on, man. How does that
play
work?
anybody.
I guess so.
On that note, we are now in the deep heart of playoff season. Prior to the Super Bowl, it's now the eve of the AFC and the NFC Championship game. Rob, Steph, I know you've been watching football all weekend long. We've been texting back and forth and going back and forth. It's my favorite time of the year. It sucks that we're not in it, but it's playoff football, and I gotta watch it. I gotta get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the Packers and the Rams. We talked about our Super Bowl picks the last show, and so I had the Packers. Of course, being at the NFL is so fucking set up. It has been for years when it comes to me, and of course, most of us in the Raider Nation that know what time it is. Okay, and then Giannis, if you're out there, if you don't know about that, and Farseek, if y'all don't know about the setup bullshit I'm talking about when it comes to the Raiders, okay, email me. I'll tell you all about it. All right, we'll have a conference call.
Okay,
all right, you gotta know that if you're gonna be a Raider fan, how we've been done by this league, and the league continues to do its bullshit. I saw some shit in that Tampa Bay game that was some bullshit, but anyway, so I do the over-unders. So I had the under with the Packers and the Rams came up.
All right.
Didn't come up with the Buffalo Bills and the Ravens. I had that as the under, but it was a nice day in Buffalo. I had that as the over 50. That was the line. It was a nice day in Buffalo, and those two quarterbacks, I thought they were going to just light it up.
It was windy, is all.
But I didn't know that going in.
3 missed field goals in that game.
I didn't check the Weather Channel, but
that's what you got to do.
That's what you got to do. Of course, I had the Browns because fuck the Chiefs. What's up, Margarita, back in Oakland, our black hole.
When Patrick Mahomes finally got hurt there and taken out of the game.
But was he?
Was he?
Or is he doing his Michael Jordan thing?
He didn't hit his fucking head.
But he has a concussion.
He didn't hit his head.
I noticed that too.
And I watched it about 5 times.
But he had that. His eyes. You know what I mean?
He's acting. He's trying out for a new movie. He's going to be flat.
Make the miraculous comeback.
I mean, it was like when Tyson knocked out Michael Spinks.
Interesting.
It was like he hit him on the top of the head and Spinks fell.
So wasn't even faking it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a Kansas City faker.
Wow.
I don't believe that he hit his head hard enough to him. Did you see the way he ran down the tunnel?
No, I didn't see.
He ran down the tunnel. He jumped from the top stairs. Only like 4 stairs. But I mean, his vision was fine. He jumped down the tunnel, made the right, ran up the tunnel. Like, he didn't seem like he was that woozy where he couldn't have went back in the game. I think it was some bullshit in the game, and they were trying to give the Browns a chance to win, which they did give you that chance, and you blew it.
Yeah.
You motherfuckers fucked it, tripped it off.
They put in Chad Henne, and he kicked your ass.
When you're not running the ball in the first half, you got 2 of the best up-and-coming running backs, Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt.
He more than
Man, he's playing against his own team. The way the shit went down in Kansas City, regardless of what the circumstances were.
Right.
Okay? Man, you want to exploit. That's what I'm saying about, like, when it comes to the Raiders, like, man, motherfucker, we're playing the Chiefs.
Baker Mayfield did not put on his heroics that he did against the Steelers on a Monday Night Football.
Playing Tom Brady, that motherfucker, they cheated for him against us. The fucking directive is knock him out.
Right.
Knock him out the fucking game for that shit.
I'll tell you right now, I've been saying this with you, Rob, because at the beginning.
So Kareem Hunt, man, turn him loose.
You got me on the Josh Allen bandwagon.
Goddamn right I did, because I know my quarterback.
Beginning of the season here. No, but you're right, man. Josh Allen is a whole different new breed of quarterback.
Right. He's
size, athleticism, confidence, cool. Does just go out there and wins, throws the ball down the field on whenever he just feels like it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to wind up and get ready for it.
Right.
He just does it, and he uses his legs. So I'm definitely. The Bills right now with their defense and their special teams and now their quarterback, they're definitely showing that they can win. Now I'm relying on you Josh Allen, now that I've been sitting here telling you how great you are, I need you to go out there. We need you to go out there and beat the shit out of the Kansas City Chiefs this week. Make it happen.
As the old saying goes, never need, always want. I want you to go out and beat the living.
I order you to go out there.
Okay.
I demand it.
Do it for the AFC and do it for all us Raider fans that are jocking you. And, that's what's up, man. Congratulations to our friends Jan and Rich. Sorry we didn't make it out to see y'all, but we will kick it with y'all this weekend for this AFC Championship. Our Bills fans that are here in Las Vegas,
well,
friends of ours.
You got to look at the protocols of whatever the protocols are for the National Football lawyers.
What do you mean?
When you go out on a concussion or you
right.
go out on a particular industry, there's a certain amount of time you have to sit out before you can play again. Now, I don't know what that time frame is for a concussion, but that would be interesting to look at. Is that the sign that really nothing was wrong?
They're overcorrecting now. They're overcorrecting because of the lawsuits 10 years ago and 15 years ago against the NFL and how they delayed and recognized. And, of course, 2 men, 5 men, 11 men against 11 hitting each other at 20 miles an hour is going to fuck your head up 10 years from now. Sure. They wanted to deny that, So now that there's lawsuits to be had and the fact that they've got to stand up and face the music, have had to face the music on the medical conditions that happen from football and the physicality of the game and what have you. Now they're overcorrecting. You know what I'm saying? They're overcorrecting.
Right.
Where just watching. I've been on this run of watching highlights from the '70s. I'm in NFL Week 1977. NFL Week was the show. 1977.
Real quick, 77 is one of my favorite years of all time.
Well, I just saw
everything.
Wow.
Just saw music, football.
Just saw Bradshaw get blasted by Gerald Irons. It was Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
Gerald Irons.
Week 8. But week 9, blasted the shit out of him, blindsided
His
him.
son Grant
When you see Bradshaw, know that he's coming. He kind of looks over his shoulder real quick, and Irons just blasts his ass. Former great Raider lineman, Gerald Irons. And he's out. So who's his from?
Oh, yeah.
Got up, went to the sideline, and of course we lived in those times, so I remember this a lot. But came back in.
You rubbed some dirt on it.
Threw two more touchdowns to John Starrock and Lynn Swann.
Right.
And beat him. But, the toughness, the grittiness, man.
Yeah.
The fact that, now the NFL is going to overcorrect that. And, the thing is, okay, is Mahomes all right? For all the money they make, like you say, there needs to be a standard with the protocol shit.
Right.
Before you deem them a protocol. Because as soon as you say that,
and it's like...
Right. It's like when you get it on the streets. You get detained by the cops, you're pretty much going to get arrested.
Yeah.
They start with that detain. Well,
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had the handcuffs taken off and said, you can go about your day, sir.
I have. I've been fortunate with that. But usually detaining is like,
here's a bag of the car.
So that's pretty much what it is. Like there needs to be some barometer.
Yeah.
Before you just say, oh, it's his head. Right. And then that's it. He's done for the game.
Right.
And that's bullshit to me. But yeah, the playoffs are getting thick. Green Bay, like I said, beat the Rams.
Right now I'm relying on the Green Bay or the Buffalo Bills. Preferably the Buffalo Bills to go out and at least beat Kansas City.
Right.
But I'm relying on Green Bay to beat
Tom
fucking Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I order you. Aaron Rodgers.
We want to see him like this.
Yeah, the coffin. We didn't get that last time. Remember that?
Yes.
You want to see Tom Brady in his coffin pose?
Yeah.
Staring at the sky in the grass of Lambeau Field.
Right.
It can be done.
Yes, it can be done.
It must be done. It must be done.
We've done it before, and we did during the regular season, which is now long gone.
Well, I just love the fact, though, that you had the controversy 2 years ago when LaFleur got there with Aaron Rodgers, and they were talking about, them drafting Jordan Love out of Utah, and that was a sign that the Packers were getting ready to shoot the gun too soon, shoot their wad too soon, and get rid of Aaron Rodgers. All the controversy around that.
Oh yeah.
Aaron didn't even trip. He didn't even address it. So
Aaron Rodgers came in behind Brett Favre.
They drafted me when Brett Favre was in his prime, right? So he didn't trip. But of course, he's cool because he's from Cal, baby. Where we from?
Roll on, you bears.
Roll on, you bear. Mm-hmm. So anyway, and he told him. you know, during the previous offseason where they were saying, there was this and that and the other between him and the coach and all that, and did they go out and get the type of weapons you needed and whatever. And he said, man, I don't need big name guys. I need guys that can play football.
There you go.
That's all. I only need one good wide receiver and give me whatever else you got. These were some of the things he said during the offseason last year. And they got Devontae Adams and some role players, and he's true to fucking word. That's all he is. That's a football player. All I need is guys that can play the game. Who gives a fuck where they come from? All right, Canada, Tibet, Vermont Tech. Nobody cares. If they can play football and you're a football player, then you can play anywhere in any style. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I hope that we get to, this upcoming season, man. And, we did a good job of that so far the last year and a half. And Mayock did a good job last year with bringing in guys that are football players. John Abrams, a football player. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Your boy that you like, Morrow, I hope he sticks around too. That's a football player. He just goes out there and looks to make a hit, looks to make a play, and whatever. Josh Jacobs, that's a football player. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So, that's what Aaron Rodgers is. When you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers and he gets those type of players, then what do you have? You have a true football team. Yeah. Right. And that's what the Packers are showing. They are a true football team. It's not a lot of flash, not a lot of block.
Smarts. Smarts.
Yes.
I mean, that's a quarterback that's confident that can say that, hey, you bring me whatever, and we're working together because I can teach this person. I can work with this person. Exactly. And that's the thing. And I know this offense, so I know where we're going to go. That's different. These players that we brought in have come in and, they're attempting to formulate that sort of, nucleus around the quarterback, but it has not really gelled the way that it could be if he were more of that presence that you need, that leadership that you need on the field.
The Packers definitely got their hands full because, as we're saying this all about how we think it's great that they're that kind of football team, the football team that's coming into Tampa Bay is the opposite of that. They got all the big names and the stars. Who? Tampa Bay.
The stars they have.
I mean, just to have
Brady.
They've got Brady.
They got Devin White. He was a big-time draft pick at line.
They got names like Ndamukong Suh. Okay? And as much as we hate him more than anything, I know I fucking do, the fact that Antonio Brown is now on the verge of possibly going to a Super Bowl after the bullshit that we had to deal with in Oakland, and Mike Mayock had to kick him out of training camps. To see him out there is making me sick to my stomach, and another reason I need the Packers to win that game.
I got you. I'm with you on that.
So I'm just saying,
take the Succaneers out.
The Succaneers got a lot of players, and their linebackers are big and mean and strong. Their safeties are big and mean and strong. That's something I noticed over the
it's
playoffs. As we talk about our defense, I see other defenses with players that I kind of wish we had.
We talk here a lot, and I do about the DNA of teams and our DNA, which the DNA of your team and its identity and what it's known for historically, and even back to the creamsicle days. Well, when I used to watch the Bucks a lot and got hooked on Leroy Selman.
Who came up with that logo?
And Robert Batman Woods and some of the other, and Mike Collier back then, and even one of the old Raiders played for them for a minute. Nehemiah Wilson and Neil Cozy played for them at DB. So anyway, that was a stout defense. The year that they went to the playoffs in '79 against the Rams and came one game from going to the Super Bowl. And then, of course, the defense of the late 90s and early 2000s that we met in the Super Bowl in San Diego with the Simeon Rices.
Warren Sapp, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, just for starters.
That's their DNA. They come around every 5-8 years, and they're known to have, a some defensive... Serious.
That's what I'm wondering. How are they able to do that every year, even with different defensive coordinators and different defensive coaches?
It's their DNA.
They keep coming up with a mean, badass defense.
It's the DNA of the team.
We need a DNA like that.
And they have that culture where they have a GM, Bruce Allen.
Someone's not using it.
No, Bruce Allen's in Washington now.
Yeah.
But through the McKays being there, all the Rich McKay and them, that DNA was put there. Where it doesn't matter who they are. When we get a linebacker, this is the type of linebacking we play. Mm-hmm. This is the type of defensive.
This is our style.
This is our style.
Right.
This is the type of DB play we play. Mm-hmm. You know, this is our style. So it doesn't matter who they plug in. If you were hired, you know, it's okay, Michael Masonette. This is the buck. You know, when everybody goes the way, Patriot way, and then it was really Packer way, and then the Raider way was the one that was synonymous throughout the 70s and 80s. You know, you motherfuckers constantly stealing from us.
Constantly. You're not stealing from us.
For your theft. But anyway.
That's because we're rich with wealth of ideas and imagination.
So it's part of their DNA. That's how they're able to do it. You know, it's part of their DNA. It's not the coach coming in and he's changing things. You know, what Monty Kiffin did, this guy's doing. Raheem Harris. I don't want to see Raheem Harris. I know I want to say him because I just talked about him being our coach. Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is doing. It's the DNA. Raheem Morris when he was there. Same thing. It was that same DNA. You know, so that's what's up with Tampa Bay.
And
but
we do
why
have
are you
one.
praising him? Fuck you fake Buccaneers. You fake.
I'm praising him. I'm just listening.
The asterisks, but I mean, but that's so important to lock into Raider Nation and to the Raider team and the coaches that are listening. We have our own style. You know, we've been in this league 1960. You know, we are definitely an influence on the style of football with Mr. Al Davis, you know, in the American Football League. This is why you've got to take in all of that and then utilize it for your success. It's already been done. Like I said, you don't have to create anything new.
It's a template.
Sinister, it's a template. Sinister defense template. What does that mean?
We're one of the elite teams in the NFL. You know, just because you lose for years and years doesn't mean what your history has been. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, you know, Macy's, you know, may be going out of business or you know, but it's still Macy's. It still is the premier department store in American culture.
Yeah.
Period. You know, no matter how many they close of them or what have you. You know what I'm saying? People still reminisce about going to Blockbuster. That was a video store, kids, where we used to have to go get things that you can now just fucking click and get. Okay? It was so rough for us growing up.
Yeah,
we had to stand out in the cold. We had to get out. We had to go out in the cold.
You had to wait for somebody's video to come back.
So you can either put yourself on a list. You know, I want it next. You know, and then call you. You can come down and get it, Rob. Well, I'm busy. I'm eating right now. You know, well, we're going to give it to the next guy. It became a part of your life.
Right.
You put it in your stock. I got to stop at the video store, go to the grocery store, get some beer, you know. Yeah. But anyway.
It's all good. That was fun.
That's what's up. You know, that's what's up. And, you know, this year, you know, the draft is going to come up. Now, I know we're going to do our draft show. We'll probably have our draft cast that we had scheduled to do last year. We want all of you to join us on the first day of the draft. We're going to do a live draft cast. Like I said, we scheduled it last year. We're going to have guests.
I think it's important to remind we will be doing this through the off season. We're just going to keep going.
We're not going away.
We got plenty of shows on the table.
We won't be dropping it often, but probably every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Whenever we do a show, we'll pop it up. But yeah, we will be here through the off season. But prepping for that, as I'm doing and Stone do, you know, me and Stone, we're into the combine. We do the draft big, you know, we have our prospects and we sit up and talk about who we want and all that. And so real quick, just some guys real quick I got my eye on.
You already got your eye on players for the draft.
Yeah, you know.
It's not who you want, but people that you...
Yeah, people I got my eye on that I wouldn't mind having on the team. And I'm not going to do the whole spiel because this year I'm keeping it more condensed because, you know, as I said, truthfully, my interest sometimes is just with these motherfuckers. I need some excitement. So anyway, but I would like to see running back addressed. I'd like to see wide receiver, linebackers addressed. Stone, of course, wants to see defensive tackle, defensive end addressed, wants to get J.J. Watt here. And I just want to say, too, this man here is one of the first ones to bring that up. I'm starting to see it trending, okay, on my timelines with all these little Raider shows. Samoan Raider, what's up? I've listened to your show. You know, it's a good show. You got a good format, man. But, you know, give props what props are due. Stone was talking about this about week 5, week 6 about J.J. Watt when we were talking about prospective players that we wanted to come to the team. And I was teasing the trade that I put up last week. And then we've got Las Vegas Raiders report, I think it is. Check you guys out. Yeah, it's a good show. You guys got a good format, man. You know, props to you. But again, you're talking J.J. Watt and all, and it's bubbling out there, Stone. People have heard your
that's a
call
good thing
for J.J. Watt. So just want to make sure you get your props.
Those 11 to 12,000 views aren't just so.
Oh no, they know we know what we're talking about. We're veterans at this shit.
So, and it's good to hear that, frankly, because I want J.J. Watt. That's the bottom line. However it gets there, however it starts, however the story gets around. I know for a fact, just knowing in my DNA, Mike Mayock's already been thinking about that, and he's either been on the phone or he's talking to somebody just to see what at least the realistic logistics are to possibly making that happen. I think out of the whole entire free agency this year, well, that's not even a free agency. I think they'd have to make a deal to make that happen. But the point being is that with everybody that's available this upcoming season in 2021, there's not a lot of guys that I can think of that fit our mold of Rod Woodson or Bill Romanowski, the veteran that's got a few years left on his clock, that's got a lot to give and a lot to bring to a team and can help mold a team or help shape a team. And I think J.J. Watt's that kind of guy. And when he went and did that press conference was what it really was. He wasn't just sitting there talking on the microphone after a game. He was letting people know exactly how he felt, setting up what was going to happen.
Well, shakeup's coming in Houston anyway, because now you've had over the last 2 weeks Deshaun Watson voicing his displeasure with what's going on. They're getting ready to get a new GM.
You only do that if you really want to make a move.
And a new coach, and he wanted input in that, being the franchise guy. He didn't get that. He felt he was disrespected by the organization by not bringing him to the table to discuss what the new coach would be and what the future was going to be for him in Houston. So he's rumblings about him wanting out, possible locations being San Francisco and Miami that they're talking about, and maybe even Indianapolis. But he wants out. He's making some waves. So Houston's an unstable. Houston, you have a problem. James Harden just got traded from the Rockets. Who knows? Your Astros were cheating 2 years ago, banging on trash cans and shit. You know that have got a serious problem.
That's shaking it up big time. That's really the whole house.
When your two biggest players, your marquee guys, your box office, they're talking about your box office.
Like you said, basketball and football. I mean,
James Harden's out. So he's ripe for the getting. I hope it happens. But anyway, running back is where I would like to see some improvement this year. Wide receiver, linebacker. Real quick, Javonte Williams. I'm not going to go deep into him, but he's from North Carolina. He's a running back. Elijah Mitchell, a guy that I spent a lot of time watching this Saturday.
What kind of backs are these guys when you're talking about
Okay, then we will break it down.
I got it. I just want to hear a little bit.
Javonte Williams, he's 5'10", 220. Okay, he has 4.53 speed, and he's a hard body guy. He's a think Sean Alexander. Okay, think Marion Barber.
Okay, but you're
Marion Barber from Dallas.
You're kind of reading into what I'm thinking though too, as far as that type of back that's more of a
Tyrone Wheatley.
Tyrone Wheatley.
Okay. Very shifty guy, inside, outside guy.
But strong, and they hit hard at the line.
Yeah, and he can catch. He can catch. He's good reception. Good receiver out of the backfield. Elijah Mitchell. Now, this is a guy from a little school, the Raging Cajuns. I always watch them when they're on TV, and that's the University of Louisiana in Lafayette. This kid, another one, 5'11", 217. He's got 4.53 speed. And with him, you think of Larry Johnson. For Kansas City a few years back, that type of back. Also,
was a great
people may, go, whoa, come on, Rob. But Marshawn, this kid Elijah Mitchell works well in between.
Those are the types of backs you're looking for.
In between the seams, in between the lanes. Okay, he's a punishing guy, knows how to get his shoulder down, and he's always going downfield, just like Marshawn. Always going downfield. He's not easily taken down. At wide receiver, Kadarius Toney from Florida. This kid is 5'11", 190. He's a three-tool guy. You can get him in return because we got to get Hunter Renfrow out of returning punch.
Yeah.
All right, you're going to kill my boy. I don't want slot machine.
When Hunter Renfrow, I think it was the last game, second to last game, third to last game, somewhere at the end of the season, he took a hit on a punt return. And he just got
when his head floated over
and his body just hit the ground. And you've been saying this all year long, Rob. I mean, we're thinking it. You've been saying it that you don't like to see him out there in a position where he can get hit hard like that.
Right.
Yes, he's a great team player. Yes, he's a great receiver, and we want to keep him that way.
Right.
But he's got great hands, and maybe he can even bust one off once in a while because he has that type of moves down the field. But one wrong hit, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You're done.
And you're like,
you're getting ready for retirement. You're in the neck brace like Rich Gannon.
Right, yeah.
Please don't bring that. So close to talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Cocksucker.
Any other running backs you got there?
No, that's it on the running backs. Kadarius Toney, the wide receiver. Then there's another kid, Talon Wallace from Oklahoma State. I've been on Oklahoma State receivers. I like their program. Gundy's an asshole, their coach, but he does have his players conditioned, very athletic. He always turning out like my boy a few years ago, Marcel Aitman, who unfortunately didn't make it, was a cat that I wanted us to draft, and we did draft him, that I had my eye on. He had a couple of years, but he just couldn't get out of Gruden's doghouse and just couldn't step up enough to be productive. But he was Chaz Shillings. Remember Chaz Shillings when we had him? We wanted Chaz Shillings to make it, that same type of player. Well, here's another one coming along, Tylon Wallace out of OK State, 6 foot, 185. Again, speed, great route runner, and just guy with hands. I'm looking at guys with hands, guys that can catch. You know what I'm saying? Because if you get a Trevor Lawrence, this guy can throw from any angle. You know what I'm saying? And he also has finesse. And so you need guys that can catch any type of ball. You know, you're not just trying to lock in, okay, Carr either comes in hella hot or he comes in wobbly. You know, and so you've got to always adjust yourself to him. Where this guy can pass, you know, Trevor Lawrence, anytime he can get it to you, you just got to be able to catch it. You know, you don't have to adjust yourself to him. Just be able to catch the goddamn football. You know, and then linebackers, Joseph Asai, outside linebacker from Texas, 6'4", 255, speedy. He's a play hawk. Okay, you know, we talk about ball hawks and what have you. This guy's a play hawk. He wants to be in on every play. He's all over the fucking field. You know, check his highlights out on YouTube. Can tackle. Texas is always known for having burly linebackers and having a good, fundamentally sound program on defense. So that's a cat that we're looking for. Remember, we had Michael Huff years ago from Texas starred for us for a minute. He has personality, too. It's a kid with personality. Again, Las Vegas. We want players with personality, man. You know, that can hand that.
You already have everybody on the strip.
Confidence and personality. Well, that's where they're going to be.
Yeah, you're right.
That's not front. That's where they're going to be, hanging with the strippers and hoes and the other big ballers that come to town. You know, so they're going to have to know how to play in that arena. You're going to need guys with personality, you know how to take care of themselves. Guys with confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because this fucking place will suck.
Oh, yeah. It's easy to get sucked into the vortex. That's for sure.
You can't have a lot of, you know, country boy yokels out here. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what's going on.
I mean, I have to bring up Josh Jacobs now. Because Josh Jacobs just got, you know, he's
driving, though.
Look, first of all,
when
I see a 22-year-old kid drive, however old he is, he's in his early 20s, driving around in Vegas, getting an accident, at the night after the game, the last game of the season. First of all, I compared myself in that position. I'd be partying, driving around in the middle of the night or whatever, and I'd have stitches in my head too. And I think it's even happened a few times. Oh. So I'm just saying, it's no big whoop. Thankfully, he didn't get seriously hurt, and he didn't hurt anybody else. Nobody got hurt in the whole situation.
That's good.
Well, let me just say this to all you Raiders, okay, that'll be coming from the Strip, and a lot of you live out this way. And you'll be coming through McCarran Airport, okay, and a lot of you in the middle of the morning.
That's a scary tunnel.
All right, I know this from experience coming south. When you get over that little hump, okay, once you pass over Russell and you get over that little hump that takes you to the connector, all right, that takes you to Hidden Wall, takes you back around the Las Vegas Boulevard, and then out south to Henderson, okay, that first ramp is where the coppers sit. Okay? That first ramp, when you come over the top and it merges from the airport, and you see the buses and all that, that's where the coppers usually sit, and that's how you got pegged.
They hide like cockroaches.
Yeah, but they just sit right off on the road there and watch you. And before you know it, you've flown by, and they're on you. You know, other than that, it's well lit. So you should be able to stay in between the lanes. I don't know what the particulars were that got the infraction, what made him causing the other. Was it speeding?
I wonder if it was speedy, because that makes sense for being.
I've sped through there.
You've been in California, though. You're used to speeding, you know, and not honoring the speed limit. But here, in the no tolerance zone, you've got to honor the speed limit.
Vegas cops don't fuck around.
So after 2 a.m., when you coming back from the Strip, going through that McCarran Airport tunnel there, man, I'm telling you where the copper is, man. All right, he don't go Raider Rob's word. I'm telling you what's up. All right, but yeah,
I consider that a good, helpful safety tip and warning.
Just, the game's deeper here, man, being in Vegas.
And also a warning and a reminder, make sure you go online and vote for Violator. Rob, you went on and voted
yes. Ford Hall of Fame. Yeah, FordHallOfFames.com. That's FordHallOfFameFans.com. Make sure you go on there and vote for the great Violator. There are a number of other fans from other teams that are on there. I think a lady from the Cardinals. Well, how that happened.
Yeah, right?
And a couple others from some other teams that are not worthy. But God bless them.
Well, Violator did see our last show. He saw the promotion that we did, and he contacted us to say thank you.
Right on.
Thank you, Violator, for being a Violator.
Yes.
And we're going to keep doing it. I go online every day, at least once a day. You can do it once a day to vote.
Yep.
And sometimes twice.
So
Yes.
Yeah, I've voted twice.
So just
it's not rigged.
Right.
Yeah, this election's on the up and up. It's on the level.
Yes.
No, but for real though, I would love to see like you were talking about the other nominees, right? Let's make Violator like blow them away.
Oh yeah.
The Raider Nation literally going to blow it up.
Violator, yes.
So it's like literally like. The scale's like this.
A margin.
Yeah.
They call it landslide.
Yeah, we want a landslide for Violator.
But no knock to you other fans. I went and saw your profiles, and they graded too, of course, on community service and, what people have done in their community. Some of these folks are first responders and people that have had some, troubles in their life and have turned their lives around and things like that, have had some obstacles, whatever. So they graded. It's not just rah, rah, rah. And
well, I think if you get elected to be a Hall of Fame, you don't just
and Wayne
from wearing a costume.
Wayne has worked with the youth in Los Angeles in that area. He's worked with a lot of charitable organizations and what have you over the years. And like I said, the last show was really the man that imprinted the image of the Raider fan in the Los Angeles Raider Nation culture.
He's the face.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
He's the face.
He used to be on billboards.
Yeah. When I think there's a lot of great
posters of him around Los Angeles.
There's a lot of great original costumed Raider fans, but he to me is like the one that stands out the most out of all of them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great ones.
Yeah.
But he stands out. That makeup job to me is very reminiscent of almost like Kiss. In other words, it's identifiable. When you see Gene Simmons, you know it's Gene Simmons.
Right.
When you see a Violator, you know it's Violator.
Congratulations, Wayne. We're rooting for you. Get out there, Raider Nation. FordHallOfFans.com, okay? And we thank you in advance.
It'll be on the screen. They can look at it. Check it out.
But anyway, that's just some of the players I'm thinking about, and so we'll, like I say, get into that a little more as we get closer to the draft.
One of the coolest things that I noticed about the playoffs, like you,
Playoffs?
like everybody here, I'm watching the playoffs.
You kidding me?
Trying to get into it, trying to have fun with it.
Yeah.
But recently, a commercial came up, and this is very subtle the way they do it. I'm sure you've all seen it, but it's a long HBO Max or one of those streaming channels, cable channel commercials. At the very beginning of it, you see King Kong and Godzilla coming together in a fight scene. And I've been waiting for this my whole entire life. King Kong versus Godzilla. The movie is coming out in 2021. I've loved anything Godzilla related. We're talking from the beginning. From 1956, Godzilla, the original, or Gojira. Alright, I've been watching every single Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla, Planet X, everything, all Mothra, Rodan, and in 1960...
Who's doing it? Is Disney doing it?
No, it's not Disney. As a matter of fact, what makes it cool to me, I'll bring it forward
here. Godzilla in a Mickey Mouse shirt.
The remake of Godzilla just a couple years ago, and then they got the second one, Godzilla, King of All Monsters. That's King Ghidorah. It has Rodan.
Okay.
And I'm as big a critic as anybody, because I love the rubber suits and the googly eyes and the fake atomic breath and the smashing cities and the wires. That's my Godzilla. But I have to, of course, watch it when I go to the movies. And I gotta see it on the big screen, because I gotta feel like, oh, Godzilla! I gotta see it from there. But, yes, the last Godzilla was great with King Ghidorah. I loved it. And the fact that it's King Kong now, it's something I've been waiting for since all my life. The only time they've ever fought in a movie, ever. And King Kong Godzilla is like, That's the quintessential,
The two iconic.
giant heavyweight matchup. If you think of a fight or a game or a Super Bowl, you want to see King Kong versus Godzilla magnitude of a fight. So yes, this is going to be huge. 1962 was the only other time. And when you asked about who's it made by, the Toho company, who did create all those monster movies over the years, the Japanese movies, is affiliated with this. And there's even like some of the music.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, it's there's a lot of throwback stuff if you're a fan like myself.
Yeah.
Okay, question. Where are they fighting at? Are they fighting in LA?
I don't know.
Or are they fighting in New York again?
Or maybe Japan.
That would be cool, though. We haven't seen a lot of Tokyo and.
In other words, which city will they destroy when they fight? That's a great question. I don't know, but I'm waiting. Like I said, when you see the commercial, it's like so quick. It's like you even wonder, did I just see King Kong versus Godzilla?
Right.
And I had to like literally stop the whole room. Everyone's watching football. I grabbed the remote, stopped it, rewind it, and paused it right on the spot where they're going at it like that. And I'm telling you, man, it got my eyes lit up and my jaw dropping, going, yeah!
But you're supposed to root for both of them, so that's, you know.
Who do you root for both of them?
I root for Godzilla, but then you root for King Kong. But because they're supposed to be good guys in the end, right?
Who the fuck is King Kong's not a good guy? He climbed to the top of the Empire State Building with the white lady and almost dropped her a few times. He's not a good guy. He swatted at planes and shit. What are you talking about?
I always thought he was a good
Then
guy.
in 76, he climbed the
He's
World Trade.
misunderstood. He was taken from Africa.
In 76,
I understand that.
in 76, he climbed the World Trade Center with Jessica Lange.
I saw that at the theater. I loved it.
Times. What was good about that?
It was 1977. 1977.
He didn't drop her, and he climbed the building. So what?
He loved her.
Right, he loved her. But I really love Godzilla.
Then they did the one with the little fat Jack Black. I cannot stand him. But I don't know, man.
Comedian.
My thing with Godzilla,
You're hating before you even see it.
no, I like
How
Godzilla.
dare you?
I like Godzilla. I used to watch on Saturday mornings and shit, but they lost me when they did they did the one.
They did one coughing because he's being cursed by Godzilla.
They did the one in the late early 2000s or late 90s, and they let Jimmy Page let them use cashmere, and Puffy rapped over.
There's a lot. That was 98.
I got you.
That was not Godzilla with Matthew
It
Broderick.
was Godzilla.
No, it was not. It was a fucking iguana. Alright? Don't tell me about my Godzilla. I was right there on the big screen watching
It
it.
was the
Whatever.
iguana.
Anyways, it's coming. Get ready for it. Godzilla versus King Kong.
So which one would you take out there, Raider Nation, or our subscribers from all over the world? That
Yeah,
we
who you
love
got?
Are you a Godzilla
Who you got?
fan? Or are you a King Kong fan?
Or King Kong?
Like and
That's a tough
subscribe.
one. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Personally, they ought to have them two, or the winner, go up against my all-time favorite, which is Goldar. Okay. Goldar, Johnny Sacco in the front.
Johnny Sacco.
Okay, Goldar, baby. They used to shoot out of launch.
I like Ultraman too.
I love Ultraman. Hayata.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we love here at RaiderFan Radio. So we love old Japanese monsters and
Hit us with your favorites.
Heroes.
Hit us with your favorites. That's what's up. Yeah, hit us with your favorites. That'll work like a mug. Yeah, I know one thing too. This football thing, we'll be on the show like Stone said. But it's kind of like, as it has been for 20 years for us, and particularly our first incarnation, we take a little lull around this time and get into some other things. Stone would be recording and do what he's doing, chasing my music things, you were doing your thing, all that. Then we come back together on off season and do some stuff and have that. But for me, it's always a time where people talk about the sports void.
The what?
The sports void.
Void.
the sports void.
The void where it's kind of
Well,
the
some
time
people
of
don't
year.
need every sport. Some people like me mostly like football.
Well, you've also got things that are thrown off because of COVID. So you've got basketball started later.
Right.
Baseball.
It's all janky.
Yeah, it's all janky and what have you. But for me, I am ecstatic to take a little break from the Raiders, other than, intermittently dropping it and saying some things here. But for me, the NHL is back, and I'm big on the NHL. The 2021 season started over the last couple of days here, and so I'm back, and along with it, my 40-something year watching hockey.
40-something years watching hockey.
Love hockey, man. And I was one of the rare black kids growing up in Oakland that, could talk hockey and would sit up and commiserate and talk hockey, and hockey wasn't even really a big thing, especially in Northern California.
Yeah, you didn't even have a hockey team.
We had lost the Golden Seals when I was growing up. We had the Oakland Golden Seals.
This was way before the Sharks.
Way before the Sharks, who were supposed to be the Oakland Sharks. But they gave them the.
See, I would have rooted for them or followed them if they were the Oakland Sharks, but they were the San Jose Sharks. I really didn't care to.
Yeah, well, hockey's back, and for me personally, like I said, I'm hyped for it. Love hockey, and I'm so hyped because as of 2015, 2016, I added another team to my team. Hold on, everybody, one moment. I'll be right back.
Team.
Yeah, I added. Well, the team that my team that is my team.
Where are you going? What are you talking about?
I'll be right back.
What are you going to get?
See everybody.
We got a special little presentation.
Rob is currently offset doing something.
The suspense is killing me.
Gotta go into my.
What is Raider Rob doing off camera to add to this segment about hockey?
Yes, baby.
Look at you.
It's time for Flyer Rob.
Look at you.
Flyer Rob.
Night Rob.
Flyer Night Rob.
I am looking forward to the NHL.
Oh my God.
I love the NHL. Like I said, I go to the quack like you quack it. But that's what's up. That's what's up. Hockey's back. Love the Flyers. And
Apparently, he's got a big old logo on his head.
We watched the Knights get birthed here. Before there was even a stadium and the practice facility, City National Arena. There was nothing there. You used to go up there and walk and what have you across from Red Rock Casino. And saw all that come to fruition. Flyers, that goes back to the 70s, the Broad Street Bullies. They were effectively the Raiders of the NHL back in the day. And they have 2 Stanley Cups and have had, a great legacy over the last 40 years. But
does hockey have cheerleaders?
Yes, the Golden Knights have cheerleaders.
Okay.
They're one of the first teams to incorporate. And then the LA Kings, I think, had cheerleaders too. They've done that over the last 10 years, incorporated cheerleaders.
They're working it in.
It's an exciting game, and for me, because I like physicality, when I was growing up, I loved confrontation. I lived my life like a linebacker because I was a linebacker in high school.
Radio
football. So I have no problem, and just the physical beauty of violence, when it's done right. Like old school NFL football and like hockey. Just the violence, the athletic violence.
Did you say the beauty of violence when it's done right?
The violence when it's done right.
Write that out and big letters across the screen. Remember that.
Is where you see the beauty of violence done right. There's a style to banging somebody up against the boards at 30 miles an hour. It's how you do it. It's where you hit them. You know what I'm saying? I love instant, physicality like that. It's great, and it's a game that's constantly fluid, and so, and I understand the rules and all that, so I love it, so I'm pulling, who's it, a fat boy that used to be on ESPN all the time, Chris Berman, drove me crazy for years.
Is he gone?
Sports Center, he's not dead or anything.
Not COVID yet?
No, he's not COVID yet, but he used to always pick the Bills and the Niners every year for the Super Bowl.
Always.
Yeah, well, now that I have my latest team, because I only had one hockey team, although I always had a special spot for the Toronto Maple Leafs, one of the original 6 of the NHL over the years.
They should be the Silver Knights, by the way, not the Golden Knights.
This
is the Silver State.
Oh, the minor league team is the Henderson Silver Knights.
All right, then. But still, they should have done it. I think they blew that. That's a big opportunity that they blew right there.
I'm with you on that.
I wanted them to be the Las Vegas Hitmen. That was the team that
that was the name
that I submitted. Yeah. But anyway, so I watched this team be birthed here, and I went to some of the early practices before they got popular when there was nobody up there. I used to go up there Saturdays and hang out, man, and watch them when they were first putting the expansion team together and getting it worked out. But it's been a great success here in Vegas. Again, the template of sports, professional sports, that will be followed whenever Vegas gets an NBA team or Major League team, and that the Raiders, like I've said for most of the year, should follow. The way that they put themselves into the community, the way that they fused hockey into this community in the desert, and really made it popular, really made it accessible, and that's the way to do it. And now it's, they're the number one team in Vegas, So
yeah, they did a great job coming in.
So that's my new team, and so my dream, much like Chris Berman, for here on out, will be for the rest of my life to see the Flyers and the Knights in the Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup.
Okay, East versus West. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but for those who are into the NHL, keep your eye on the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. Okay, they're up there with Williams, Niedermeyer, and a couple other cats.
We're talking hockey.
Yeah, we're talking hockey. A couple other cats that are real up and coming. Oh, come on, man. Keep an eye on the Buffalo Sabres. Okay, with Jack Eichel. All right, and
doesn't Seattle have a new team?
The Seattle Kraken will be debuting next year. The Kraken. So that's what's up with Drake. Up until 06, he loves that. Edmonton with the new Wayne Gretzky, they call him Connor McDavid, and also Gerald Nurse, big time hitter up there. But my team, the Flyers, Jake Voracek, James Lee, Sean Couturier, Morgan Frost, Carter Hart and goal, Flyers, baby. And then my NHL, the ones that really put it down, Golden Knights, baby, Mark Stone, Ryan Reeves. Now, Ryan Reeves is on a commercial telling you not to put your water on.
Oh, the one that knock you the hell out.
The wall, Ryan Reeves, the NHL's most dominant enforcer.
That's a funny commercial.
He's on the team.
A man needs something to be excited about.
And that's what I'm excited about for the offseason while I wait for the Raiders to reconvene and get their shit together. We're rolling with NHL, baby. It's going down. So I'll be coming in with the Raider Rob NHL report. You can hit me on my other show.
This was funny.
We got an offshoot here.
If you go back to the original recordings of Raider Fan Radio.
Wait. You brought this up last time, Rob, when Raider Man was on the show, and I agree with you. Now we're having a little production meeting here. We got all these great ideas. Raider Fan Radio presents.
Yes.
Whatever you want to put after.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything.
Right.
Fans, characters, ideas.
Yeah.
Hockey.
Right. Raider Fan Radio presents.
Well, I got something to really get you excited, Rob.
Really?
Even more so.
Okay.
ESPN, since you speak so highly of Chris Berman in this last segment, ESPN has a series called 30 for 30. In their next show coming out February 4th.
Great documentary.
I saw the one with the not the Bash Brothers, but Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa.
Right.
That whole steroid situation that happened in baseball and got way out of hand. But anyways, I watched that one, so yeah, I like the series. But the next one will be Al Davis versus the NFL.
Oh, that
Raiders.
That old tale, huh?
Yeah, that old tale, exactly. We like to tell that tale. We talk about it all the time. As far as I can recall, ever since I've known Raider Rob for about 20 years, that was ingrained in my brain. Al Davis versus the NFL.
Yeah.
That was basically the DNA of the relationship, or the contentious relationship between Al Davis and the NFL. Most of the things I know go back way to the AFL when he was the commissioner. He was elected the commissioner to the AFL. He left his position with the Raiders.
Owners were
and then the rest of the owners went behind his back. Right? Tell me if I'm wrong. They went behind his back and made the deal that he was already working on. He was trying to make the deal to do the merger, where he would have been the commissioner
the NFL
of football.
Yes.
But Pete Rozelle, who was the commissioner of the NFL,
Ralph Wilson, and Lamar Hunt.
They made a backdoor deal.
Who owns the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yes.
Okay, give it some context. It's one of the reasons first generation Raider
fans
we
hate the Chiefs
because of how they backstab Lamar Hunt, their founder, backstabbed Al Davis. Go ahead, Stone.
Well, you basically we're interjecting with this is all great information. We've all seen the stories about the AFL. Of course, we have Crunch that comes on all the time. He wrote the book on the AFL, and that's where I've had a lot of chance to get all my information. But yeah, Al Davis, since the NFL and Pete Rozelle and Lamar Hunt, and they all made that deal behind his back, from that point on, Al Davis is always known before that, but especially after that they were all out to get him, that they were all going to do dirty deals behind his back.
Right.
You know, and these are things that he worked on. He was our architect of all.
Well, he was not to be trusted, and he put him out on Front Street and let it be known that he was being cheated by the NFL, that they had it in for them. With Pete Rozelle on East Coast media, it was very known, his vitriol towards Al Davis and some of his personal feelings about Al Davis. So yeah, for the business optics of it all, it would seem like, they got along, or in any situation you're doing business
they understand the political aspect of it.
Shit. But they did not like each other. And this is not something that has just been in lore of Raider fans that we use this as some type of crutch or excuse. The National Football League hates the Raiders and have hated Al Davis and what he stood for, for 40 years, period, up until his death in 2011. All right? It is not contrived. It is not made up. Okay? They hated Al Davis because Al Davis thought for himself. Because Al Davis was establishing an identity with the Raiders that was bigger than the NFL. And that's why you had the us against them. That's why you hear me say we play Raider football. That's not me coming up with that. That's part of the lore of the Raiders. That's what Mr. Davis said. We didn't play NFL football. We played Raider football. It was the Raider way.
Right.
It was different than all other NFL teams and how they were run. And a lot of teams co-opted our shit. So, this is not just, shit that's made up. Okay, this is born down to us generationally. That's what makes us a special fan base, because we have a lineage of understanding the dynamics of our team and what the politics and the business politics of our team is, and what has been used against them by the NFL, and how you end up with shit like the tuck game. But anyway, go ahead.
And these were the kinds of things that fired up Al Davis when it came to deciding that he wanted to move his team to LA and say, fuck you, I'm going to do it, whether you like it or not. Ultimately, Al Davis became that rebel. It's almost like it's like a Darth Vader story. They created something with the actions that they took.
Right.
And Al Davis just came back firing. And
he didn't always sue them too. That's another myth. This thread and myth for the last 40 years that he was always in, court, and he messed the Raiders up because he was suing.
I did see him in court one time, though.
And he loved to sue. A lot of times he was in court because he had to defend the Raiders. The NFL would have liked to have taken over the Raiders, much like the NBA. Much like the NBA took over the New Orleans Pelicans a few years ago.
I still think they wanted to take over the Raiders.
That's what they wanted to do.
Right.
Okay? And they were trying to force him out. And once we lost in the Super Bowl, to Tampa Bay, that was the beginning of it.
Right.
Of them trying to deconstruct the Raiders and rewrite history and just sweep our shit under the rug and bring down Al Davis.
Chuck rule.
Right.
Because he kept beating their asses in court. But a lot of the times he was in court because he was being sued by the NFL.
Right.
But of course, the media, particularly particularly the New York media, defended the NFL, of course.
The organization.
And so they wouldn't tell you that part of the story.
Right.
You would have to literally, when we were growing up, get monthly magazines and football-specific magazines like Sport and Pro Football Weekly, a monthly and shit like that, to read the intertwining story, to keep up with it. Now, we were in Oakland, so we read it in the paper every day and saw it on our news, and knew that it wasn't always Al Davis suing. He was suing sometimes to protect the team from the attempts by the league to do dirty shit to the Raiders in court, and charge them with all kind of felonious bullshit.
So now you understand the tuck. If you go back and read Raider history, now you understand Tim Brown's use of the words sabotage in relation to the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay. And that's what we're saying.
In relation to the front office of Mike Lombardi.
Conspiracy theory?
It's a conspiracy reality.
The front office, more poignantly, more directly, it was the front office of Mike Lombardi and Amy Trask at the time that he was calling out.
Right.
Okay, when Mike Lombardi was our GM, with his saboteur ass. Greasy motherfucker.
So when you look at 30 for 30, you got to look at really the real history of that. And I'm wondering, I don't count on them to really give the true story of...
If you can, before you watch it, go online because it's up there, okay, unless the greatest TV media platform right now, YouTube, pulls it in the next 24 hours.
You're not the president.
But go on there and see the Sports Century, another ESPN produced series that's very great. But see if you can see the Sports Century of Al Davis. Watch that. Then watch this new one, because it's been 9 years since Mr. Davis died, or however long it's been now. And what they're doing is trying to rewrite history. Because he beat him in court all the way through. Even with the move to LA and coming back, beat Oakland too, and all that type of shit. Alright, he left some money on the table that he owes, somewhat in certain political form if you want to, okay, in a way. Alright, but the bottom line is, they now are going to do revisionist history and are going to bring you a product that's going to make them look favorable in court against Al Davis now that he's not here.
Brain hosing.
And I doubt that they interviewed Mark Davis for any context or anybody from the old front office for any real context.
I think that this whole scenario
about the story.
This whole scenario,
it's going to be a hit job.
At the very least, what it does, and I think that's why I want to talk about it tonight, because if there's anybody out there watching and is a fan of Al Davis, like we are, obviously, you'll go out there right now, literally while the hype especially is going on, and learn as much as you can about Al Davis.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interviews out there. There's a lot of stories to be told. Crunch, our friend, wrote the book about the AFL. I liked there's a series called Full Color Football that I personally liked. That was on NFL Channel. And it wasn't just about Al Davis. It was a whole story
about the AFC and AFL,
Correct, how the AFL came to be and how it all went down. Al Davis was a big part of that story. I mean, when you think about
this football story,
the stories with Al Davis, when you look at all the stories compiled, to me it's almost like reading a history of rock and roll. When you think about Bill Graham and Led Zeppelin and the bands of the 70s, when I make this comparison, when I'm talking about comparisons, I'm just saying there's these legendary situations that happened, and they were
that made history,
and they were very conflicting. There's a lot of aggression behind it, and it was really about there were legitimate fights. They were trying to win fights against each other.
What was the New York bias? The interpersonal of it was a New York bias. Pete Rozelle and most of the owners had origins in New York. You also had at the time with the Jets getting Joe Namath, Sonny Werblin, who was the wizard of marketing at the time, was trying to get his Jets into that spotlight, and that was the beginning of the sports entertainment inklings of where the NFL was going with that move that he did by bringing Namath there. And you had the league mostly wanting to go that way. It wasn't that Al Davis didn't want to go that way, but what happened is Al Davis was from New York, from Brooklyn, and then came to the West Coast and went to a city that at the time nationally was considered a threat because of the pro-black movement that was going on in the Black Panther Party, and of course the Hells Angels at the same time, and all this counterculture ideology
the rebels
that are seeped into our culture today, really it's made its imprint into this nation. And there's always been a resentment by the establishment, for that, against Oakland, all right? And so those three things fused together, the Raiders and this vagabond owner who was telling his other, particularly New York friends, fuck you, I'm going to run my shit my own way. You got this roll of long-haired white boys on motorcycles doing whatever the fuck they want to do with Sonny Barger and Big Chico and all them, telling the authorities, man, we out here living our life doing what the fuck we want, stop harassing us, stay off our ass, let us be free, and that ends up being criminalized. And then, of course,
that would be like
you have the Black Party, the Black Panther Party of Self-Defense, who is standing up for the liberation of black people and people as a whole who want to live free. It wasn't just about black people. It's another misnomer and lie. Oakland's been lied on a lot, and one of the greatest and some of the greatest lies have been against the Oakland Raiders and the legend of Al Davis. Those are some of the biggest lies that have been perpetrated when you fuse the whole story of football, sport, your civic identity, and then history and culture and all that shit matters. Same way we all New York and LA and the Miami's got its culture and all that. Well, Oakland has too, but Oakland's always had our identity and our vibe has always been a chip on our shoulder. And we got that because you admire what you're around your environment. So outside of some of the musical stars like Sly Stone and people like that came out, Pointer Sisters out of Oakland, all of us, black, white, Mexican, and all that, we gravitated to people that stood up for the town.
And that's what I mean
represented the town. And Al Davis stood up for the town, and he was a hero and a guy that a lot of us followed from our generation, man. Regardless,
That's why I compared it to the rock and roll world too, because it's all very rock and roll. It's an era when all these things were happening at once.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of our former owner,
And he was a civil rights pioneer, too.
we'll now talk about our new owner, his son, that he left the Raiders to, Mark Davis. Mark Davis, Raider Rob. I know you've got more information on this because I don't know much about the WNBA, but I know that Mark Davis now is the owner, or one of the owners, of the Las Vegas Aces, which he has been supporting since he came to Las Vegas. He's very well known for being out at the games, hanging out, actually into the scene. And
he does a lot of hanging out.
Being close to the community.
He hangs around. You ought to buy a hanger company. He hangs out a lot.
Well, eventually when he hangs out somewhere long enough, he decides to buy the place.
Well, the Aces, again, another homegrown franchise here, was an expansion franchise a little over 4 years ago, and they were put out here in Las Vegas, and they became an instant success. Again, this community is a very local, civic-minded community, very proud, and has a kind of an edge to it, too, with its locals who really, hold the city to heart, not the Strip so much. And again, a lot of you are not from here. There is a separate, identity.
Las Vegas is definitely a city or a big town. When you take away the Strip, you have the actual people who do live here, and there's definitely a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything around the community. We got the great, restaurants and other things other than the Strip. And I do like the way that the Raiders, basically, at least when they've come here, I think about where we would be if there wasn't a pandemic situation going across the world right now, and we're all praying and hoping to get to. But to me, I like the idea that he did invest into the local community, to another team. I think it puts him definitely higher at the echelon as where he stands as far as the sports.
It's a good move. It's a good move. I've been talking about how, you ingratiate yourself to this community, and again, how they responded to the Golden Knights, the pride that they have for that, the Aviators, even the minor league team in the beautiful new stadium up in Summerlin that's packed during the first inaugural year, and just a great response for that, and clamoring now for Major League Baseball and the NBA. So, it's a good move. I commend him on that move. It's a power move when it comes to being like Jack Kent Cooke or some of the other great owners that owned multiple teams, legendary owners. Mark Cuban, another one down in Dallas, and owns a couple of teams, an MSL team and a WNBA team, the Dallas team in the WNBA. So that was a good move. That's what I'm talking about. Making a splashy big move, but also incorporating yourself into the community.
Maybe it is a little bit of a foreshadow when you say splashy big move. Splashy big move.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly.
Talk to me, baby.
Doing that with the Raiders.
Yeah.
To be continued.
Yeah, to be continued. But congratulations, Mark. That's a move, and I like the fact that he also did something that belies the public image that has been placed on him the last few years, where, people don't think he's really sports savvy, or has a sports business acronym.
I think about Mark Davis now. That might be kicked off of Raider Fan Radio.
Right. Shows that he does.
It might be kicked off of Raider Fan Radio as I now break down Mark Davis, a little bit about Mark Davis. Because I'm going back to our old shows. When we used to talk about who was going to inherit or get the team, when Al died, because we all knew Al. We saw Al all the time at the press conferences. We used to go there all the time. Me and Ray and Rob were sitting at the one with the famous one with Lance Kiffin.
And I was in between.
Being fired with the overhead projector. Yeah. Yes. I say Rob because he was sitting right literally next to me. And it was we were whispering. We were in a movie. He wasn't always at all the press conferences. We usually This was one where he showed up because he knew how big it was.
Mr. Davis specifically reached out and wanted us there.
So Al Davis had his famous overhead projector press conference when he fired Lance Kiffin.
That's right. When he fired Lance.
So, anyways, but when we talked about Mark Davis in those days, my impression or my thoughts about Mark Davis was the younger Mark Davis that was more for hanging out with the players of the team and being in the
the LA Mark Davis.
The partying young Mark Davis.
Yeah, the Hollywood Mark Davis.
The Hollywood Mark Davis.
He's still that.
And there was a lot of, I'm sure, when it's in you, it's in you. You know, I mean, I do it. I'm going to be like that till the day I die. I want to go out and party too. I get it, you know. But anyways, I think when it came to the idea of him taking over for the Raiders, I compared him to Tommy Boy, the movie Tommy Boy, with a dopey kid
That is accurate.
inherits his father's empire, and he's groomed, and he has no interest. Oh shit! And he's party. He's party. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Man, you're on point.
So, and I
know a couple people in real life that are trust fund kids like that. They have no interest in their father's business, but they're rich as fuck right now.
I know, Mark, you're watching right now, and just like I gave John Green a little, something about his, he's mixing a salad. I'm just trying to help out here. I'm just being honest. Anyways, but the point being is that I have to say, ever since Mark Davis took over, and his dad did die, he made a lot, move after move after move after move, to the big move when he came here, and I'm going back to when he brought in Reggie McKinney.
He was making moves.
But when he brought in Jack Del Rio. They brought back Charles Woodson. He had Marcus Allen light the fire over the 12 Jackson in Oakland, but the contentiousness of some of those old relationships with his father. Yeah. He's done a little bit of
mending,
atoning for the sins of the father. That's what I call it. Yeah, a little bit.
Except for one.
Well, I'm not. I'll let me finish my. I'll get you in there. Don't
put me in there.
I'd like to at least say that, and the fact that he came to Vegas, he got there's a stadium there, $2 billion stadium. We haven't even broken in yet. All right, so the stage is set, and he's coming here and he's buying the other teams too, and he's supporting them as well. So he proved me wrong. I'll admit, man. Like I said, I'm just saying my whole idea. Well, I still think he likes to party and have a great time like anyone else.
Well, very strategically, though, back to the sports business end of it, he may be, I'm calling it early, maybe setting up the WNBA purchase, being the lead on bringing an NBA franchise to Las Vegas, which has been a long sought-after proposition and award for Las Vegas locals, going back to the days of the UNLV dominance and Jerry Tarkanian and the Running Rebels fame. They've wanted pro basketball here. So that could be what he's doing, and if that's what he's pulling, he'll be a savior here. They'll love him forever.
For these things that you speak of and that I speak of, I'm happy and proud of you, Mark. You did some great things, and now, and I know you're watching.
Your greatness actually is in your future.
Now let's see how let's see how big we go now. I'm ready for it. The stage is set. We're ready. We're all ready for it. We can't wait for the party to really get started here in Vegas.
Yeah.
And we'll see you out on the strip.
Yeah. Now, it went big this year. Well, it didn't go big, but it's big for me. And I just want to say a big shout out to the fans. The fans of the NFL and across the league who were able to attend games this year and did.
Which not a lot was said about.
Yeah, we mentioned that last week, but you've been out there. We obviously have seen you and know, you folks in Kansas City and places like Cleveland and some of the other locales, Miami. You all, were able to go out there and represent, and it was great to see. I'm always fans first, fan advocate, of course, notably. And, I just, thank you for representing, for taking these risks. And a lot of it hasn't been highlighted, but I'm going to do some digging during the off season and hopefully be able to talk to some fans personally who did attend some games. I'm going to try to line that up and connect with some fans from different fan bases and have that feature coming up in the next couple of months where I'm trying to get some fans in the air and talk about their experience, because I want to highlight it. Like I said, we're fan advocates, man, and we're some of the most recognizable and famous
There should have been a spot during this whole.
So we know that. Wait. Oh, go ahead, Stella.
There should have been a spot with all this broadcast you're talking about and the fans and the games, and I'm thinking, in my mind, there should have been more emphasis on the fans. There should have not only been that, but there should be even an area where maybe someone could come talk to a reporter from 6 feet away or whatever with their mask on.
They do it with players.
Yes, exactly. So, and I'm kind of wondering why that isn't. That's got me thinking.
I think it's obvious what the message is,
And it's not obvious to me. Tell me.
Be seen and not heard. We don't want to hear what you have to say. We just want your money.
Damn.
We want you to pay us. This is your entertainment. But it's like, no, this is different. I'm an investor in you. You know, I'm investing large sums of money. It was just a game when it was $15 for me to go, and I could bring my whole family for $15. Now I have to buy a seat, and that seat, or a license to a seat, which we had to do in Oakland when Oakland first came back, and now they're doing it here in Nevada. Same thing. It's like that costs, and so the investment is much higher, and so our say should be much higher.
And a demand for a better product.
And a demand for a better product.
Higher. It's the same in any market. Yeah.
Something that made the difference too, I think, in the Bills game, the Bills-Ravens game, was the fans.
Yeah.
The fans were so loud, and they haven't been hearing that.
The city was almost packed yesterday.
Okay.
But you saw it notably
They're the deciding
on one of the drives.
Absolutely.
When the Ravens got those three
fans mattered to the game.
Those 3 false starts in a row. They started out on the 40. They ended up almost inside the 10.
You saw that
before it was done, and you saw the linemen. We pointed that out when we were watching it. To the linemen,
there's an
he was like, I can't hear. I can't fucking hear, man. That's loud. You know, you can see him noticeably reacting to the fact that the fans impacted.
Whether you like it or not.
Right on to the mafia out there, the Bills mafia. Yeah.
I think there should be an asterisk next to the season for that reason, or at least something to signify.
Something to note that it was
2020 was this unique, rare.
Right.
Once, hopefully, we don't even know what 2021 is going to bring yet. But that was pretty drastic, where you don't have those elements that add to what the game is.
Right. But in some places it did, and so to those fans that were out there representing all of us, man, that couldn't be there, or just representing the fan culture, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, right on to you, man. Thank you so much for putting that face out there and still letting the owners and letting the media know that
significant.
The game is important to you. And yeah, there may be risks, and again, we don't know some of the protocols. Going to find that out, or just how the process went for fans being let in and what have you. But it was just great to see fans in these stadiums that did allow them and kudos to those teams that went against the grain and trusted.
I'm cheering for the fans.
Trusted the universe. Yes, always, man. We're
always
first.
We're first.
Always. So that's what's up, man. 2021 so far starting off okay for everybody?
Yeah, it's only a month in. No, actually, no. Okay. When I'm waking up every day and I don't know who the president is, what the next guy's going to be, or who's going to storm the Capitol, or who's going to burn this police station down, I don't know. Right. I hope it gives us a little bit of a breather.
What is it with everybody with a property? Explain that to me.
What do you mean property?
I've heard this. I've heard it for the last time. Yeah, ever since these protests and whatever it is, everybody in this country with this happy medium. You know what I'm saying? I tease you about being diplomatic and all that, but burning down the police station and even storming the Capitol, property. Everybody gets so worked up over the property and the semantics of the issue, instead of what caused the issue.
It's a brick and mortar.
And if we ever dealt with the causes, if we ever dealt with the causes in this country, we'd have a sense of equality and freedom. Because most people's equality, is just being left the fuck alone. Being able to think what they want to think, live the way they want to live, long as they do not tread on anyone else. You can have your politics, you can have your ideologies, you can have your conspiracy theories, you can have all that shit. But why does everything have to come down to like a violent reaction to everything? And then everybody is always so emotional about the toll the violence took on symbolism or property, as opposed to dealing with the cause and the effect, and dealing with the cause and the issue before the effect happens. You know what I'm saying? So, that's something to think about.
Go to the root.
People tearing up shit off of a lie, or people tearing up shit, your city, your community. It's not going to bring change, instant change. It's not going to stop, again, the issue. The issue isn't tearing up the police station. The issue is trying to get a relationship again with the police that doesn't have them, overstepping their bounds and then using excessive force to mediate the issues in society that they are trained or allegedly should be trained to deal with without having to put 28 bullets in you, for whatever reason. And then the flip side of this other shit is just accepting that you get lied to, man. People lie. Politicians are the first and some of the greatest liars outside of lawyers.
Highest paid lawyer, liar.
And were lied to. But, I mean, I wish I could go tear up some shit for some of the political grievances I've had. You know what I'm saying? As a black man in America and get away with it? What the fuck are you mad at? You were able to go to the fucking United States Capitol, tear it up, bring all your ideology with you, centuries-old ideology. You know, yes, some lives were lost, but incrementally to how many people were there and how many people did get away with doing it based on a fucking lie that you couldn't accept, and you're whining and crying after the fact, wanting pardons and shit like that. Get the fuck out of here. Some coward ass shit. You know, you got away with that. You got away with that, man. And you're mad?
In 1776.
I wish I could fucking go tear up some shit for my political beliefs.
On that note, I forgot to say Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Fuck out of here with that shit.
Rest in power, Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Well, on all that note, those are obviously all serious situations that we got to deal with in this new year. So when you ask me about how's my year going, we'll see. To be continued. On that note, I want to leave with my last public announcement, or at least public information. You know, a lot of people out there right now during the pandemic season, some of you have, and a lot of you don't have anything right now. You're hungry, and other people are getting checks and money from wherever. Some people do have jobs and some positions of power. Well, I'm just saying right now that the government's forking out all these checks and giving people money. It'd probably be a good idea to start helping as many of the local businesses that you keep being concerned about that might lose their business. Right now the corporations and the governments are the ones controlling the narrative, and they're controlling who's making all the money, and where it's coming and funneling all into. And I know that we all care about each other enough to, when you can, help out your local mom and pop shop or whatever, small business, independent. And your fellow, and it's a way for you to get what you need from you. Go give it to them.
And your fellow American laying on the street corner, man. You know what I'm saying?
Because there's hungry people in right now, man.
And homelessness is picking up in this country, and it's a lot of people that, you know, a year ago were in 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartments and 5-bedroom homes, and we're making $80,000 a year legitimately, and we're really out here being the backbone of the commerce of this country. You know what I'm saying? Which all of us that work, you know, or contribute, you know, to the commerce and the gross national product of America are. We're the backbone. And so, yes, from that to the man laying or the woman laying on the street, man, you know, yeah.
On that note, we will see you next show, which will be show number 16. This is 16, show number 15. Baby. You can email us, of course, anytime you want at RaiderFanRadio@gmail.com. You can like, you can subscribe, you can share with the world, man.
Yes.
It's off season. We're going to hang out for a while. Just to give you a little preview, we got a couple shows coming up. One of them will feature Raider Rob's Raider Fan Radio Roundtable, where we will be hanging out, talking with fans about the season.
We're planning that.
That's the future. And I also put a show together of my own, Rob, and I think you're going to like this one.
Oh, okay.
This is an idea I came with. I was getting a lot of guff last time I talked about Rich Gannon, and I made the excuse for the 5 interceptions in the Super Bowl, of which we had a comment down here saying, Stoner Dude, what about Rich Gannon's 5 interceptions? That's his legacy. So what I want to do is I want to put Rich Gannon on trial. I will collect my information and data. I will be the defendant. Raider Rob will be the prosecutor.
No.
And we will see.
I'm not working for the law.
No, it's our law. It's RaiderFanRadio law.
You, man.
I might even have Steph being the judge, although I think she'll lean.
I'm Johnny Black.
One way. And we will have the trial of Rich Gannon at Raider Fan Radio.
All right, the trial of Rich Gannon.
See you next time. See you show 16. Later, Raider.
Peace out to everybody in the nation.
The views and opinions of RaiderFanRadio.Vegas, RaiderFanRadio.com, and Raider Fan Radio Media are not the views and opinions of the Las Vegas Raiders, Al Davis Football, Inc., or the National Football League. RaiderFanRadio.Vegas is an independent media source.